really scary to see, like, after all the things I worked hard for, just gone in an instant.
Coming up on Carolina Week, how the uncertainty surrounding DACA could send one UNC student away from school for a new life in a new country.
It survived not one, not two, but 5 NCAA national championships, but now the Franklin Street icon is retiring.
He may not be an American Idol, but he sure does have the voice. All of this and so much more.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
DACA is dead. Those were President Trump's words on Twitter this week. Good evening, I'm Donnie Holloway.
And I'm Anne-Marie Haggerty. DACA is our top story tonight. We've been following the story of one UNC dreamer seeking forgiveness for being brought to the U.S. as a baby, but who still might have to return to the country he hasn't been in 18 years. I went to Mexico to find out why that matters and how the president's recent tweets on DACA might impact that student's life. He's a UNC first year on a full ride studying computer science, but
My first semester, I just didn't feel like I belonged here.
any day, Samuel Gomez might have to go back to the country he left when he was 6 months old. He's a so-called dreamer, and his life would change dramatically if DACA changes. I'm here in the heart of Mexico City. The city is full of vibrant culture, as you can hear behind me with this band playing. But if you've never grown up here, it may be difficult to acclimate into the society. For someone like Sam Gomez, who's lived in the United States his entire life, coming back to Mexico presents some daunting challenges. One big challenge, he doesn't speak fluent Spanish. This is Sam's family in Neza, Mexico. In person since he was 6 months old. His grandmother remembers him from phone calls as a kid. He used to say a lot of times, "Granny, apple pie." He wanted to cook apple pie with me. Apple pie, a classic American dish Sam wanted to share with his Mexican abuela. To me, family means everything. It's a part of my life. And I don't have him or his little brothers. Sam's siblings are 10 and 3. They live in Charlotte. If Sam has to leave, he won't be able to come back to see them. Sam's aunt Melissa fears for her nephew. It's totally unfair to me. I don't get it. They're practically taking the life of someone away, aren't they? They, meaning the U.S. government, who's still working out a deal for the DACA program. Here are the basics on DACA. It stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. The program protects about 800,000 immigrants who were brought here under the age of 16. There are 27,000 DACA kids living in North Carolina. Because Sam is one of those kids, he lives in constant uncertainty. Will today be the day his DACA status is revoked and he has to leave school for a new country?
It's really scary to see, like, after all the things I worked hard for, just gone in an instant.
If he goes back, he'll have to learn Spanish, try and find a job, transfer college credits, and he may find himself here in Mexico City at the National Institute of Migration. At an office like this, he would be looking for new identification paperwork, new documentation to rebuild his life here in Mexico. Sam's family knows rebuilding would be hard if he has to return, but say they would welcome him back with open arms.
Somos una familia unida.
We are a united family. We support each other in every way. If he returns to Mexico, if they deport him, with all our love, he will be welcome here. He'd be welcome, but Sam still hopes to stay here at UNC in the States.
Everybody who's, like, documented or undocumented, they all feel American at heart. The only thing that differentiates them from other people is really just a thing that's on a piece of paper.
A piece of paper that could be taken away any day. With it, Sam's American dream. Sam Gomez's DACA status expires in September of this year. He'll have to reapply in order to stay for his sophomore year at UNC. This week, the Carolina Week team found that Charlotte, Sam's hometown, has one of the highest deportation rates, not only in North Carolina, but in the nation. As you can see on this map, Charlotte's deportation rate is over 3 times higher than that of New York City's 24%. Then there's Atlanta, Georgia, with the highest rate on the East Coast at 89%.
The Triangle area has seen several protests about DACA, and research shows that's part of a bigger trend. New data from the UNC Department of Sociology shows an increase in activism across the country. Researchers say more than 10,000 protests like the March for Our Lives event in Raleigh have occurred nationwide. They say Trump's election prompted many groups to speak out and have a voice in the democratic process, like this one, organized by Black Lives Matter here in the Student Union. The researchers expect protests to continue into the midterm elections and afterwards. Chapel Hill's iconic restaurant and bar Spanky's first opened its doors in 1977. To give you an idea, that's the same year that the first movie in the Star Wars trilogy premiered in theaters.
And just like in Star Wars, Spanky's has seen a lot of action over the years, but as they say, all good things must come to an end. Our reporter Moses Mazzulu is live at the famous restaurant to tell us more. Moses?
That's right, Anne-Marie. Pizza places on Franklin Street come and go, but for 40 years, Spanky's has always been right here at the corner of North Columbia and Franklin Street. So when the news broke out that the restaurant is retiring, it came as quite a shock to many people in the Carolina community. Spanky's, a Franklin Street staple, closed its doors on Saturday after 40 years in business. The owners broke the news on Facebook in a post, saying they were retiring the restaurant and they were grateful for their regulars and customers. Regulars like journalism professor Louis Boynton, who says she cherishes the memories she had at Spanky's.
It's been second office, it's been second home, you know, and I've taught some of my students who are wait staff at Spanky's over the years, and it's hard to let it go.
The post did, however, allude to the owner's future plans for the space. They plan to open a new restaurant in the space, but with a different concept. But this news left some customers like Josie Valle scratching their heads.
I'm honestly very confused about what's happening. It just makes no sense that they're retiring because I've never heard of a restaurant retiring before. It sounds like they're just rebranding.
Regardless of what ends up taking the place of Spanky's, Boynton says she'll go in with an open mind.
I'll have to give it a try because I think I'm on autopilot and I just go there.
Now, I don't have any leads on what the concept will look like, but the owners did promise one thing: affordable prices. And I'm sure that will hit home for many college students here at UNC. Anne-Marie?
That's Moses Mazzulu live from Franklin Street. Thanks, Moses.
Shifting gears now, after the academic scandal, the university has stated repeatedly that it's committed to transparency, but getting access to UNC public records has not been a quick process. Carolina Week requested emails between the university and Edelman public relations firm from the Public Records Office in 2014. We got those emails in 2017, 3 years later, so we decided to look into the time it should take for records to be returned. Professor David Ardia from the UNC School of Law spoke with Carolina Week about if this time frame was typical.
Obviously, the use of technology can improve the searchability of records and the disclosure of those records.
In North Carolina, the public records statute does not have a specific deadline for when records should be returned. The statute only says it should be done as promptly as possible. We requested 9 records from the university within the past week. Those range from specific training manuals to university employees to more controversial topics, such as the number of alleged sexual harassment claims filed to the university. Professor Ardia says our request should take anywhere from a few months to 18 months. He said some improvements could be made to streamline the process even further.
3 years is too long for any kind of government records request. There's no justification for it taking 3 years.
We'll be updating you on how long it takes the university to get those records to us.
Facebook has more than 1 billion active users, but that number is dropping after the site began receiving more complaints over user privacy. The social media site finds itself in hot water after confirming it's been keeping a record of the call logs and text messaging activity of some Android users. Facebook says that it hasn't sold any information to other third-party sites, but the company saw an 18% drop in shares since mid-March and now faces a lawsuit. Big names such as Tesla and SpaceX have already removed their pages from the site. Here at UNC, opinions are mixed about Facebook's use of data.
I don't plan on deleting my Facebook because I feel like all the information is already out there. I've had social media since I was like 15 years old.
I deleted the Facebook app off my phone. I didn't want a company like Facebook to have all of my information.
Facebook says it's making it easier to track your privacy settings with a new feature called Access Your Information. Under the settings menu, so you can find, download, or delete data that's been collected by Facebook.
And for some, the answer to protecting their privacy is cutting out social media altogether. Carolina Week's Hampton Crumpler strategy might be a solution to more than one problem.
Colin Williams is a junior at UNC. When he used to get home from class, he found himself incessantly checking social media to try and ease off the stress of everyday life.
The past few days, just been in a low place, and I started to realize I was getting on social media to try to deal with my feelings and to try and find some sort of pleasure or happiness, whatever you want to call it.
The desire to constantly look at other people's postings and compare himself to others was clearly not relieving Williams' stress. It was adding to it.
And all I ended up doing was just comparing myself to what people were posting.
The unwanted stress caused Williams to make a change. He decided to get on his phone and delete his social media altogether. And he's not the only one unplugging. Just last year, Facebook lost almost 3 million users under the age of 25. And Snapchat's user growth dropped from 7% to 3% at the beginning of this year. On campus, senior Parker Lindenmuth is also getting off of social media. He said that unplugging helps him feel less anxious.
I think that social media is a necessary evil in some situations, like business, some social stuff, but it can become a problem pretty fast. And so I took all the applications off my phone: Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter.
Now, if you're the kind of person that always finds yourself glued to social media, you may want to take the time to just go on your phone and delete the apps, at least for a little while. Getting off social media can help you get outside, get some fresh air, and meet up with friends.
Distancing yourself would be good, because college, we have so many things going on, especially at a big university like this with such big names and people doing such incredible things. I think it's so easy to just get lost in the chaos, and social media just adds to that chaos.
For now, Williams is dedicated to spending more time with himself offline. In Chapel Hill, Hampton Crumpler, Carolina Week.
I don't know if I could delete them. Studies show that the average person spends, get this, almost 2 hours each day tumbling through social media, and that taking a break, even just for a week, can put you in a much better mood.
Coming up next, it's the Eddie Smith Fieldhouse of Dreams.
After months of practicing, the UNC dance team has high hopes of competing at this year's Nationals.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. What? Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
It is finally feeling and looking like spring outside.
Definitely. And to add to the warm weather and blooming flowers, there's also art making its way outdoors. That That's right, the pianos are back. Arts Everywhere is a campus-wide initiative of the arts in its second year, and it officially opens on Friday. There will be more than 50 performances and exhibits set up around campus and downtown Chapel Hill for students, faculty, and the community members to enjoy. Art is being installed across campus this week, and a campus favorite, 10 pianos that were painted by students are being set up around campus for anyone to play.
March Madness may be over, but at least one team on campus is still in full swing. Reporter Allie Yates tells us about a big week for the UNC dance team.
You've seen them out there on the football field, or you may have seen them out here on the basketball court. But UNC dance team captain Lydia Davis says competing in nationals is what they work for all year long.
We're at games and we're kind of a more like cheerleading presence, but this is our opportunity to really show what we can do.
Head coach Mark Lichkowski says this is a special part of the dance team experience.
This is something we do that's a little bit separate and kind of for us as we still represent the university, but it's not a university sanctioned event.
This means these dancers are responsible for the funding getting this 20-person team to Daytona Beach today. Davis and co-captains Ashlyn Calvert and Madeline White led these efforts as the team's only seniors.
Towards the beginning of being like, this is the end goal and this is where we're at, and there's a huge deficit between the two. It's definitely a daunting task.
Funds from selling posters like these and from private donations are two major ways the team met the nearly $14,000 cost.
We don't find it as like a chore. We want to do it because we want to compete.
Competing nationally means more technical criticism, turn after turn after turn. But as you can see here, the team huddles around an iPad for critiques since they don't have a mirrored studio like some of their competitors. Nationals also mean specific tutorials on makeup and hair. Another part of training some may do in a studio, but this team does right here in a mirrorless Eddy Fieldhouse.
Although we have those disadvantages going into it, we don't use it as an excuse. They accept that challenge and they love the competitive aspect of it.
Davis says leading the team in 6 a.m. workouts and extra hours of intense practice is worth it.
This isn't just a hobby. We're all extremely passionate about what we do. That's why it's easy to go through all the pain to get there.
The dance team will perform this 2-minute routine in tomorrow's preliminary round in hopes of placing in the finals on Friday. In Chapel Hill, I'm Allie Yates, Carolina Week.
The dance team will drive through the night on Sunday to return from Daytona Beach on Sunday.
Best of luck to the Tar Heel dancers, and Donnie, they should have some gorgeous weather to drive through. It's been beautiful this week.
Yeah, hopefully. Here's a live look at campus. We actually don't have that, but we'll have our full forecast coming up after the break.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. I'm your meteorologist Alex Comment with your Carolina Week weather. So far so good today. We were expecting a couple of thunderstorms and it's not out of the realm of possibility yet. The same line that's moving through our area today brought some tornado warnings to the eastern plains all day yesterday. A couple things to talk about though. Thunderstorms possible today, warm and clear tomorrow, and a soggy Saturday ahead. Here's a look at yesterday's radar with an overlaid surface map, and you can see that Canadian high pressure is some cold, dry air that's moving in from the north, but the frontal boundary associated with that cold air is the blue line that moved through and was triggering those thunderstorms yesterday as it moved across the plains. Currently in our area, we have a bunch of warm, moist air from the Gulf And this is the same system that's moving through our area today. As you look at the satellite image here, you can see there's still some clouds moving overhead associated with that front as that high pressure moves east. And so I'm not going to rule out the possibility that you may see a shower or a thunderstorm as we go through the rest of today. Today though, 70 degrees right now, partly cloudy, winds west-northwest, 10 to 15 miles an hour, so a bit gusty at times. Passing showers and thunderstorms are possible, but tonight we clear out, a low of 36, so a chilly night ahead. We'll keep those gusty winds north-northwest, 10 to 15 miles an hour at that. And then here's a look at tomorrow. You can see that high pressure that was to our west is a little closer now and is firmly in control of our weather, bringing us clear skies for the next couple of days before our next rain chance moves in on Saturday. So your breakdown for tomorrow, a chilly start at 8 a.m., 38 degrees, but sun from start to finish. We warm up pretty quickly to around 50 by noon and then 58 by 3 o'clock, nearing our high of 62. And here's just a look at our temperature on a shaded map, and you can see that tomorrow we're dropping to the upper 60s, and then Friday we warm back up near 70. Saturday gets a little chillier again. Sunday back into the 60s, and then Monday is a bit chilly as well. And then to reiterate for our 5-day forecast, sun for the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, 62 degrees, back up in the 70s on Friday. It's going to be great. Our next chance of rain moves in. It's a pretty good chance at 80% on Saturday, and then we cool down again quite a bit that night, 34 degrees. Sun again on Sunday, and another chance of rain moves through on Monday with our next cool down. But I think it's safe to say that spring is still here, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Our snow chance for the weekend definitely went away as the forecast changed, and that's what we can expect for this week. Back to you.
That was Alex Commit with our weather. Thanks so much, Alex.
Coming up on Carolina Week Sports, will the real Carolina please stand up, please stand up, please stand up?
The Diamond Hills prove to everyone which is the real Carolina.
Everybody. Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Paul Beam. It was a good old-fashioned border war in Charlotte last night as the Diamond Heels took on the South Carolina Gamecocks. The Heels got the scoring started early off a Brandon Riley RBI, but the Gamecocks would tie the game and then take the lead on this solo danger. A walk with the bases loaded and a wild pitch would allow the Heels to pull even at 3-3 in the 6th. Joey Lancelotti kept the score tied in the 6th, striking out a Gamecock to end the inning. With the bases loaded, and a sac fly by Zach Gahagan in the top of the 8th would give the Heels a 4-3 lead. Carolina wouldn't look back, putting up 4 runs in the 8th and 9th innings to secure an 11-3 victory, the Heels' 5th in a row. And if you're getting a little deja vu, it's for a good reason. In the past 3 seasons, the Diamond Heels have absolutely demolished the Gamecocks by a combined score of 46-8. Just like in geography class, North Carolina sits on top. Football scouts were on hand in Chapel Hill to take a look at some Tar Heel talent ahead of the NFL draft coming up in late April. Wide receiver Austin Proehl was looking to turn some heads and follow his dad's footsteps to the league. It was an up and down day for Proehl as he looked comfortable in the slot but had some trouble lining up outside. Andre Smith likely didn't hurt his draft stock and looked sharp in linebacker drills. MJ Stewart showed why he's projected to go in the second or third round of the upcoming NFL draft. Stewart was impressive in defensive back drills, showing his quickness in and out of his stance. The softball team took a trip to Wilmington yesterday after a series win in Virginia, hoping to grab a road victory against the Seahawks. While the Tar Heels scattered 7 hits during the game, it wasn't enough to come out on top. Christina Burkhart and Kiani Ramsey led the Carolina offense with 2 hits apiece, but the Tar Heels ended up leaving 8 runners on base. Carolina and Wilmington battled through 4 scoreless innings until the Seahawks scored in the 5th and again in the 6th to clinch the game. UNC drops to 19-18 on the year.
Wow, Paul, MJ Stewart looks super impressive. Any thoughts on where he might end up?
Well, unfortunately, I heard there was a couple of Patriots scouts that were there who were looking at him. So I'm supposed to be unbiased, but I'm not a huge fan of the Patriots, but he would fit well with them.
All right, thanks so much. UNC's oldest a cappella group is celebrating its 40th anniversary while saying goodbye to one of its leaders.
A look at the life of a key clef hanger. That's coming up next.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
If you're a Carolina student, you've probably heard of the UNC clef hangers.
Carolina Week reporter Savannah Britt introduces us to one member who has won over his 4 years, has definitely earned his stripes.
Student. But behind these doors, UNC senior Chris Burse is a part of something much bigger than himself.
So the clefs has been one of the bigger aspects that I focused on outside of the classroom here. Sometimes it kind of feels like a major in itself.
While most of campus is quiet on a typical Monday night, these 15 guys are busy making music magic. They are practicing for their annual spring concert this Saturday night and preparing for their 40th alumni anniversary.
We have a really committed alumni base. They're all really excited to come back. We have a full weekend plan, kind of setting the stage of what the tradition is created.
In his 4 years at Carolina, Burse has had the chance to travel all over the country, singing for thousands of people and performing at events like UNC Commencement and Dean Smith's Memorial.
Amazing grace. Dean Smith's memorial service was kind of the moment freshman year where it kind of kicked into me like this group is something special.
Burse says he never could have imagined opportunities like performing for the president in the White House would be part of his college career. But despite all of the amazing experiences the Clefs have provided him, Burse says what he will miss most is the camaraderie.
The most fun that we have is outside of a performance atmosphere, and it's all of us just kind of hanging out and really getting to know each other.
That kind of brotherhood can never be replaced. In Chapel Hill, Savannah Britt, Carolina Week.
So much talent there, Anne-Marie. You know, I remember when they went to the White House to perform, really a lot of incredible voices there.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And this spring we'll get to see their last concert with Chris there, still a UNC clef hanger. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.